success was the network of people that I have around me and the network that I've built.
Uh-huh.
And I teach this again to my kids. I say this, I'll repeat that 100 times during the conversation, but it's important. That's why I'm here, to teach my kids, my employees, and to give back. And giving back is part of teaching.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Sure.
Or teaching is part of giving back. But I have quite an amazing network of colleagues and people, and you can't be afraid to talk to people. I was in San Diego over the weekend, and I met a guy that we're standing in line getting, in a restaurant to order, and I struck up a conversation with the guy, and we ended up exchanging cards and information because I think I can do some things to help him, and I think he had some key learnings for me. But that just happened sitting in the line at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And you have to be open to building your network that way. As you and I met on that fishing trip.
Yeah.
We very easily could have both went the other way at the end of that trip and never talked to each other again.
Yeah. And I think it's key. You're bringing up a key point, is that it's important to build relationships, but you have to work at it. You have to make a conscious effort and decision to be willing to open up a relationship. As you said, we could have went separate ways after our fishing trip, but we made it a point to say, let's have lunch and just get to know each other a little bit because there was something there. And as you did with the person in line over lunch, I don't think we give ourselves enough opportunity to do that in life in general. I know consciously about it's probably 2008, 2009, my first partner in my tequila business, we were spending a lot of time in Mexico. And he was that person that was always talking to the other person in line or the counter guy or, whatever. I made some friendships in Mexico back then that I still have today. But more importantly, I learned how to just be a little bit more outspoken and friendly, hold the door open or offer something or, throw the extra change on the counter for somebody that needs it, and give opportunities for that conversation. And my life has been so much richer since then.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's I'm grateful my network stretches around the world, and it is a lot of work, and you have to give back. You have to be able to help those people as well, as opposed to just, you're not always calling them and asking them for something,
yeah.
Right? You're giving back in the same way. So just, I don't know, how are we doing on time?
We're good.
Good. Okay. So I've got Liquorama going, and I'm very grateful to say after 21 years, I still enjoy going in every day and have a great group of people. And we've had a lot of great people come out of it, have worked for us over the years, that come back and visit, that are married and have kids and successful careers. And, it's nice to see that you create a positive energy out of what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
that goes out in the world exponentially, right? And it's not just one person you're reaching, it's many behind them. So, as I had mentioned, giving back, about 2004 or 5, we had started getting, like I said, a lot of success on the internet. And I said, you know what? I've got to give back to this community that's serving us and taking care of us and supporting us. And I reached out to a friend of mine, a local businessman that had a lot of relationships. And I told him I want to find an organization that we want to support that in some way or shape or form helps children.
Mm-hmm.
And he introduced me to the president of Pomona Hospital. And we met and we had lunch, and I kind of told him, what my strengths were in the wine and spirits industry and what I thought we could do. And we came up with a concept to create a fundraiser, a wine tasting fundraiser for the NICU, the neonatal.
Mm-hmm.
And he had asked me if I had any kids that went through the NICU there. And I said no, and that's the reason I want to help them, is because I'm grateful, and my 3 kids were born without any problems at all, that I understand the need for the NICU, and part of my gratefulness is supporting that organization. So we started that. This is going to be now our 15th year. We hold an annual wine tasting fundraiser for Pomona Hospital NICU.
Mm-hmm.
This year we will achieve $1 million that we've raised.
Wow.
For the organization.
That's incredible.
I'm pretty proud of that. as well as through the NICU in those 15 years, they've had 10,000 babies go through there.
Wow.
Right.
Even more incredible.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
The first year we were there was a baby born. She was 8 ounces, baby Montserrat. And she is now a healthy 15-year-old girl.
Wow.
So if you look at 8 ounces, you're talking about the size of a baby potato.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Just
incredible.
right, imagine. So I'm grateful to be a part of that. And through that, I met some people that were involved with the LA County Fair, their association. Going back, I want to just important point. It was really, I think, 2 years ago was the first year I actually had all 3 of my kids at our hospital event.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was a pretty proud moment.
Yeah, I bet.
To have them all there and to see and witness together what we created, and that I don't just say I'm going to give back, that we actually do it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's one of our largest benefactors is Claremont Toyota, the Hogan family, amazing people. And they've been big supporters. They had someone go through the neonatal there. And I always said, he's able to write the big check, but I'm able to organize and get the event together. So you always can find a way to do your part, however big or little it may be.
Everybody plays a role.
Everybody plays a role, and that's important. And so connecting with the Los Angeles County Fair, which at the time I thought was just a fair. They just put on a big fair and sell funnel cakes and serve beer and have a good time. But behind them is a huge philanthropic organization. We are now giving about $6 million a year back to the community. And I've been on that board since 2010. And grateful to that organization in that part of it is our CTEC Career Technical Education Center is helping young people that don't necessarily have a pathway to college.
Yeah.
And going back to the conversation we had is that college isn't for everybody, but there are certainly opportunities for success outside of college.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And that entrepreneurial mind and fostering those thoughts in people and helping them find a way to take what's in their head and put it to use.
You know, you said something in regards to that. You know, there is a lot of people out there that realize college isn't for them, but they also might be the same person that they don't feel like they're an entrepreneur. But they'll need a job and a way to get through life. And you said something about when you met the organizer of the hospital that you told him what your strengths were and what you were willing to do. And I think that there's an opportunity for people to apply that same principle in finding a job. Maybe there's something that they'd aspire to do, and if they could reach out and make the phone call and meet somebody of authority and say, hey, look, I don't know what you're looking for, but this is what I'm good at. This is what I can do. This is what I can offer. That goes a long ways, because I think as employers, we don't often get people that come in and say, look, this is who I am. I would encourage people just to be unafraid to reach out and talk about their strengths and what they can bring to the equation, because oftentimes somebody might not even know that's what they were looking for.
Absolutely. And so I've done some leadership classes at a couple of local universities, and young people always ask me, what do I have to offer in a network relationship? And part of them finding out the value they have as opposed to an internship that's going and getting the mail and serving, buying Starbucks,
yeah,
right, is it could be a family member or a relationship they have, or introducing two people that they know, or their neighbor. But again, it's back to you have to talk to people. And for young people looking for a job, you have the ability now to go online. You can pick any company you want, search through LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and find a connection, right, to those people somehow, some way that will get you the opportunity to either write them an email, call them directly, or just walk in the front door and knock on it and say, you know what, do you have 2 seconds for me?
Yeah, absolutely right.
And again, if you're walking into places and you're talking to people, don't look at your phone. Look at the people to the right and to the left of you, because that might be your next boss,
Yeah.
or your next employee.
Well, I've hired people from Starbucks before.
There you go.
Because they're so phenomenal on the counter. They remember my name.
That's right.
They remember. Well, I drink black coffee, so it's pretty easy. But you never know who you're going to be around and exposed to in your daily life, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if I'm at a restaurant and I'll have a great server, and I'll immediately tell them, say, look, you got to get out of this and get into sales,
Right?
And they may love what they do, right? But they have a higher purpose, right? And you see it in them, and it's getting them to believe that they have it in themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm reading a great book right now. I'm going to send you home with a copy for coming to the studio. It's written by Alan Stein. It's called Race Your Game. But one of the key points that he makes in there, and he's a performance coach for the NBA players, is self-awareness. And that's what we're talking about, is the self-awareness of who you are and what you can offer. And if you can understand what that is, you can be successful in anything that you do. Besides, I knew you didn't need any wine, so I'm not going to send you home with wine.
Right. And that is important. I'm reading, I think, 3 books right now. I just finished one of the Harvard Business Review books on strategy, but constantly reading. Look, if you're not investing in yourself, you're missing out, because having that degree in your hand is only valuable for so many things, and there's still lots of learning to do. I still read quite vigorously, probably 2 or 3 self-help books or motivational books a month, because it's important. And I pass those out and I share them, and people share them back to me, as you've given me a couple other books, I think. But it's important to continually invest in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. John, your employees will more than likely, some of them will listen to this. Your customers will probably hear this. What advice or thoughts do you have for them, or just in general for your network that might listen to the show? What do you want to tell them? Because you've had so much success, but what I really love about your success is it's grounded in giving back, as we talked about, all the way from when you raised your kids and your philosophy. And I don't think people often know that. Well, they probably do know that about you, knowing your personality, but I think it's worth sharing with people your thoughts and perspective on things.
Well, I think, as I told you, no fear. And I tell this when we hire somebody, we're bringing them into our family, right? And that if they work hard, they'll have a job for as long as they want one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's happiness. Find what makes you happy. And if you're not happy, you got to make a change to get happy. And I want to be part of that happiness. I'll have issues sometimes with people, and I bring them back to say, you know what? Let's find the spot where we're all happy, because no one wants to go to work or go home and be unhappy. So you have to find that balance, right? And for me, I love going to work. I love Mondays. I love Saturdays. I love Sundays. But I love Mondays. I love going to work. I love seeing the people that I work with. We celebrate birthdays at our place. And, it's a simple act of having a cake, but we'll get everyone around and we'll share a cake and blow out a candle and celebrate that person's birthday, because that's the day you feel happy and special, and you're with people that you work with. And you don't want to just be that employee co-worker relationship, because, like I said, we're a family. And if you're at a place where you don't feel like your family, you might want to look at making a change.
Yeah. We talk about cliches, and people use cliches oftentimes, especially in business discussions or business format podcasts and books. And I think people pacify some of the things that we say regularly because they just feel like, it's just a line. You talk about be happy. I look forward to Mondays. I like Mondays as much as Saturdays. I always try to reiterate how important some of those cliches are, because they're there because they worked for somebody or they continue to work. And I think it's important to understand that, if you're happy in your job, you'll look forward to Mondays and not look forward to Fridays because it's going to be the weekend. You just look forward to every day. And I think that everybody deserves the right to be happy in what they're doing. And I'm hoping that our show encourages them to find something that keeps them happy. But do you feel the same about cliches? Because I really want that. I want people to understand how important some of them are.
No, absolutely. I mean, again, these books reiterate so many of those